can Pakistan continue with the charade of there is no terror activity happening, we're not giving any shelter? Today, Sajid Mir's audio clip was played as far as this forum is concerned. What more evidence is needed?
Thank you very much. I mean, I'm very surprised from your government officials when they play, unconfirmed audios while they cannot see the videos of Kulbhushan Jadhav admitting all the terrorism doing in Pakistan, in Balochistan, in infiltration from Iran and all the innocents which Kulbhushan Jadhav and his companions killed in Pakistan. I would be very happy if you would have called somebody from Pakistan who's been victim of terrorism by RAW and Indian terrorist agencies. And you will be very much surprised at how many operations or how many terrorist activities been done by the Indian RAW. And Kulbhushan Jadhav is one of the prime example of that. You need to understand that it is, if you want to talk about terrorism, then terrorism started from the murder of the Gandhiji, when Gandhi killed Gandhiji, and RSS became the world's first terrorist organization. Why don't you look at your past and understand the reality that this is the RSS who has started the terrorism in the subcontinent? And if you want to tackle the terrorism, there is only one way, and that is to resolve the issue. And the issue of the Kashmir is on the prime list. That the issue, Kashmir issue should be resolved with the will of the people of Kashmir. 8 million people are hostages.
No, Kashmir is not your issue to resolve,
Indian
sir.
Army.
You tell me about the issue that we're discussing at hand. When I started, I listed out certain promises and the reality on the ground. I want a clear answer. I want a clear answer as far as the action that we saw around Hafiz Saeed and Lakhvi. I want to understand why were they not convicted for the specific militant attacks or for the terror attack of 26/11?
Because there is no evidence of them involvement in any Mumbai attacks. They have some other charges. They were behind the bars, but there were no evidence of them involving in the Mumbai attacks. That evidence we don't have. Pakistan's been keep requesting from India. India never provided any evidence. If you want to face the reality is that India do very good propaganda, but unfortunately India has failed to provide any evidence. And if you talk about Ajmal Kasab and others, if you see the way he speaks, it's pure Indian way. Nobody in Pakistan or Punjab speaks Hindi like that. It is very simple litmus test which you need to do it. Anybody can understand that where is he belong to actually. And I will say that if you want to have a real fight with the terrorism, or if you want to have a real test, then please go into your own cities and centers where RSS groups...
Sir, I thought I'll give you an open opportunity and we will have some sort of, mature answer from you. We'll at least have an intent to, solidify the fact that there will be an investigation. But with the kind of answers that I've just heard from you over the last couple of minutes, it's very clear, as I said when I started the show, there is absolutely no intent. Dr. Swasti Rai, I want to bring you in as well. Just look at the kind of answers that we are getting. And this is not just a Pakistan problem today. It is being solidified by the kind of support it is getting from China. My only issue is when we talk about Pakistan and the nexus between Pakistan and China, why do we shy away from naming China on a public platform?
Good evening, Pradhima. And yes, thank you for inviting. I was just listening to all the points that were being made by our Pakistani guest. And yes, what a disappointment. There is no discussion. It's like we are existing in different universes. They are existing in a universe of denial. And it's very difficult to have a discussion. As I want to make 4 quick points, okay? So let me just finish my points, sir. I want to make 4 quick points. The first thing is that you have to understand what is this entire FATF working style. And, the panelists, our side, and especially Mr. Chakravarti, brought out that there are certain geopolitical reasons as to why Pakistan finds itself out of FATF. Let's also understand that FATF is basically the G7 heads of the state and the president of the European Commission and some other countries that have come together to sort of recognize the threat which is posed to the banking system and financial institutions by terror financing, etc. And also let's understand that Pakistan, with the kind of economic emergencies that it was going through, it had become another kind of a problem had they remained in the grey list because of how what kind of a governance actually exists in Pakistan. So that might have a geopolitical equation. That's one. The second thing that we have to keep in mind is that it could be, and it does smack off a kind of the Western world's balancing or cutting India down to size for having an independent foreign policy when it comes to Ukraine and not really taking the sides that they want to take us. Okay, so this
absolutely.
is another.
It was actually the intentions of the West that wanted the Pakistan out of the FATF list, considering the fact that India kept on demanding that there needs to be a measure to try and monitor the terror activities.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's what I'm trying to say. So basically, it is again reiteration of the fact that we need to develop and design the important conversations for us in our way. Okay, it is a reiteration. The United Nations is not going to help us. And the third thing about China, you see, what do you really expect from a United Nations? What do you expect from, say, for example, a SCO? SCO has the regional anti-terrorist structure, which is called the RATS, which is a permanent body. I mean, what does India get from there? Pakistan is a member there. China is a member there. It helps China to sort of check terrorism in their, so to say, in Xinjiang region, etc. But how does it help India? You look at United Nations, every single time there is a joint proposal by India and the United States, China thwarts this anti-terrorism efforts, okay? And when they are asked for reason, for example, this especially this Sajid Mir, case, when the Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson, I think Mao Ning at that time, she really could not give any reason as to why did China block it, nor could she say anything on whether this proposal violated any rule or procedure of the 1267 Committee of the United Nations Security Council, under which Mir was proposed to be declared as a global terrorist, okay, and subject to asset freeze. So whatever our Pakistani guest is saying, I think one should really, if really it is a matter of confidence and a kind of a self-righteousness, why is your all-weather ally not just coming up with a convincing answer as to why would they block it, other than just containing India and sort of in our own sort of sphere.
I know Hamid wants to come in. Hamid, I'll let you come in for a quick 30 seconds and then I want to go back to Pinak Ranjan Chakrabarti. Hamid.
I just want to say that I can understand the disappointment of India that Pakistan being out of their list of FATF despite of their all, I should say, cunning efforts to keep Pakistan in trouble. But Pakistan eventually have made their efforts that Pakistan is in whitelist. I would understand the disappointment, but I am very sad at the same time that once.
So the disappointment wasn't for anybody but for Pakistan, with the kind of embarrassment that it got on a global platform and the desperate bids it made to try get itself off the list over the last couple of years. India had no joy or unhappiness with that. That embarrassment was all yours. But Pinak Ranjan Chakrabarti, I want to understand another aspect from you, which is taking on from the conversation that we were having of Pakistan coming out of the FATF's grey list. How challenging does it now become for India going forward?
Well, let me first begin by saying that I didn't expect our Pakistani guest to say anything but what he said, because as you know, one of their very, very senior journalists who said something against the army was buried today or yesterday because he had to flee Pakistan, went to Kenya and was murdered there. Anyway, let's keep that aside. But to answer your question as to what we need to do, we need to strengthen ourselves, we need to strengthen our economy, we need to strengthen our military capabilities, we need to strengthen our military outreach capabilities, so that if something like this ever happens again, we should be prepared to take the battle into Pakistan's heartland, because that is where the battle has to be fought ultimately, because that is where the terrorists are hiding. And Pakistan has been clever in trying to sort of, somehow convicting all these fellows on financial crimes, etc. First putting them under house arrest, and then allowing them a fairly comfortable life in a special safe house, etc. There has even been instances where this Lakhvi fellow has fathered a child from his wife, so that you can imagine that life was quite normal and comfortable for these people. I understand that Pakistan's army cannot do anything more. They cannot catch these guys. After all, these are their people.
Yeah.
These are the people they have put up, they have trained, they have created all these Jaishes and Lashkars and all these, whatever names they have. So how can you, if I create somebody who
with
is
what
working
face
for
will you
me,
actually put out proof against them?
How do I put them away?
True. True. Lieutenant General Kulkarni, we touched upon this a short while ago. I want to talk to you about the nexus as far as Pakistan and China is concerned. On one hand, you have a Pakistan living in denial, and you have a Pakistan which has no intent to try and improve relations with India as far as terrorism is concerned. On the other hand, you already have a very aggressive dragon on the line of actual control. We've seen these multiple rounds of corps commander levels, areas like Gogra and Hot Spring that still continue to be an issue for India. And then you have China supporting Pakistan, trying to block bids as far as these designated terrorists are concerned. Is it today fair to say it is only India's fight today and nobody else's?
I would say yes, to a large extent. It's our battle and we have to fight our battle. There is no denying the fact. Pakistan is not just in a denial mode. Pakistan will continue to do what it is doing because that is what allows it to do and survive. Because the Pakistan army has a $20 billion turnover every year. It doesn't even spend $10 billion, which it borrows, begs from the world over. You have political support to them coming from China. What kind of regimes? It's a one man. Even today, Americans, hypocrisy at the highest level. You can call it a very dangerous nation and be giving it all kinds of arms support, money to whatever way it desires. China gives its political support. China gives its money. So Pakistan is surviving. Pakistan society has been totally radicalized after Ziaul Haq. There is no denying the fact. So there is a complete hatred for India. There is no denying the fact. There is complete ensurement and to wave the way. That is why the need is for collaboration with organizations like the Financial Action Task Force, international cooperation to ensure, because technology also is being used, whether it be cyber, whether it's your cryptocurrency, whether it's your internet or social media, all kinds of relatives across and both sides of the country. So Pakistan is being used, and Pakistan prefers to being used because the kind of economic situation that Pakistan is in,
yeah,
it
of
is
course.
so much better
With a
than
crippling
Pakistan
economy, what else can you do but take all the support that you're already getting? But to wrap this discussion, Dr. Swasti Rao, I want to understand what should be the way forward. As we said, Pakistan is already out of the FATA list. So how does India continue to maintain pressure? The forum that we saw in Mumbai, forums like these, how important do they become then? Because even though they might not have a direct impact, but at least you keep the pressure on by having these conversations.
Yeah, right, Ridhima. Just two quick points I'd like to make. First is about the nature of what is happening in Pakistan. Let's also remember as to why suddenly is Pakistan getting all the attention that it is getting from the US. Let's also sort of revise that during the Imran Khan years there was this clear disjunct between US and Pakistan, and he was clearly more pro Saudi Arabia, etc. Okay, and now with him gone and the military back in terms of controlling, the calling the shots in Pakistan. Okay. It's very clear that that's military's way of trying and please their old, so to say, masters in the US, and the US is also reciprocating. That's one, and it's also trying to do that to balance India. Now, as to what really should be done, I think both the commentators from our side have made very valuable comments. That see, it is India's battle. We are alone in fighting that battle. Yeah. It is very unrealistic to expect anything out of, especially United Nations Security Council.
Agree with the point that you're making, Dr. Swasti Rao. I apologize because I've completely run out of time, but agree with the point that all the panelists have made. You need to be more aggressive. You need to keep the ball rolling. Because at the end of the day, it is India's fight to finish that unfinished business 14 years on. I'd like to thank all our guests. We're slipping into a very short break, but don't go anywhere. When we come back, we talk to you about the takeover of Twitter by Elon Musk.